So today we're going to be talking about your camera settings. So no matter what camera you have, these three things really matter. Your shutter, your aperture, and your ISO. First, let's talk about your aperture. Your aperture is the same thing as your f-stop, and that's just how much light is being let into your lens. The aperture is this circle with a bunch of blades. The bigger the circle, the more light is being let in. I like to think of it as your eyes. The wider you open your eyes, the more light that's being let in. That's how the aperture is. It also affects how much focus you have. So I'm gonna use my little sister and then show you the shots. So this is at 1.4, a low f-stop, a low aperture, and the background is pretty blurred. Now this is at a higher f-stop where she's in focus and the fence behind her is in focus. So depending on what you want to do, how much in focus, this is gonna be what is factored. So at a low f-stop, the background is going to be blurred. At a high f-stop, there's going to be a lot more in focus. Now the second thing that the Aperture is doing is letting a lot of light in. We're shooting in broad daylight, so I can shoot at a high f-stop and have everything in focus, and the image still looks good. Now if this was nighttime, I couldn't do that because the aperture is closed and it's already dark. It's also making the image darker or brighter. So you might here being referred to as like, do you have a bright lens, which is meaning your lens can stop down to have this blur, or do you have a non-bright lens or fast lens, and that's what it's really referring to. Now the second thing is your shutter. Your shutter is how I think of it, how your camera blinks. So the faster you blink, the faster you're going to stop something in action. The slower you blink, the more it's going to be blurred. It's blinking, but it's almost like opening a gate and closing a gate. So the longer the gate is open, the more light is being rushed in. The shorter the gate is open, the less light is being let in. So it's going to make the image darker. So if you want to have a low f-stop, a wide open aperture, and it's broad daylight, you need to make the image darker. So you need to have the shutter being a lot faster. Or if you're shooting sports and you want the action to be stopped and you don't want the image to be blurry, that also is your shutter. Now your last thing that you're going to be using is your ISO. Your ISO is digital brightness. It's like the brightness on your phone. You can add it and lower it, but it's artificial, it's fake. The first two things are actually real light. It's optics, it's science. The last thing is just like digital brightness that it's adding. So if you add a lot of the ISO, it's gonna make the image a little more grainy. It's not gonna be as clear. It's not gonna look good. It's gonna be called muddy, is what we call it, where there's just not a lot of detail. So you want to have the ISO as low as you can normally, and when it's dark or nighttime, you just sacrifice by making it go higher. Just knowing that it's going to make your image more grainy. If you're shooting in the daytime, there's no reason for you to have a high ISO. But you use all those three things that we just talked about to get an image. So if I want to get an image of my sister here and I want it to be wide open, and the f-stop is like at 1.4, which means it's really open and the background is a lot of blur. If I keep my settings the same, you're gonna see that it's really bright. So as you can see, that's just a good quick tutorial of how the main settings matter and how you could use those to take a photo. So if your photo is like too blurry when someone is moving, your shutter speed is off. If your photo is like grainy, it's probably your ISO adjusting it. And if you're not seeing as much being like in focus, it's your aperture. So those are the three settings that really matter the most when it comes to taking photos of photography. I hope this was helpful, and go out and shoot something.